There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Oh, hey everyone. Well, I'm back, and that's right. I finally shaved. I mean, I know some of you are kind of sad about this because some of you want me to keep the beard, but I don't know. I mean, every time I look at myself in the mirror, I see myself as Grandpa. I mean, I kind of remind myself as Grandpa with that beard. Anyway, in case what am I wearing here? This here is my ghost. This is my ghost stalking outfit. I only wear this when I'm stalking some ghosts. And of course, you're wondering why I'm singing that song is because I heard that this movie, this new Ghostbuster movie's coming out, starring this all-female cast. Like, there are some of the cast from Saturday Night Live, and Christine Rigg, and, well, I can't keep track of their names, and of course, Melissa McCarthy. And of course, that guy who plays the Mighty Thor, he's being the secretary in this movie. So he's the one be saying, "Ghostbusters, what do you want?" Anyway, the reason why I'm doing this review of the Ghostbusters is because of that movie that was coming out. So I think, why not? Why not we do a review of the Ghostbusters? But before I get to the movie, I'm gonna show you a little bit of a backstory, shall we? Back in the 70s, there was another group called the Ghostbusters. It was a cartoon animated series, and it was about a gorilla and two guys who drives this old-fashioned car, and they always drove around hunting down ghosts, and this gorilla character carries this device that traps ghosts. And that's how they started. And then after the animated series ended, they made a live series and a guy in a gorilla costume. It only lasted for a while. And then after that series have ended, all of a sudden, Dan Aykroyd. Do you know that Dan Aykroyd is autistic? I didn't know. And you know, there's a lot of people making rumors saying they're planning to make Ghostbusters 3. But the problem is that Harold Ramis, who played Egon, he passed away. Bill Murray seems to lose his sense of humor. Since most of the movies I've seen him in, he stopped being funny. And also Dan Aykroyd, on the other hand, he's getting pretty weird lately. I mean, despite his autism, the only thing that's weird about him that he believes that ghosts and aliens exist. I'm a very learned person. I don't believe in ghosts, nor aliens. How I can tell? 'Cause I ain't afraid of no ghosts. So who you gonna call? I love it when I hear that from everybody. Anyway, Dan Aykroyd decided to write a script about 4 guys who got kicked out of a college and all of a sudden runs a business where they trap ghosts. And here's the movie I'm going to show you today. What I have here in my hand is Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Good collectible pack. Oh, and here's a little interesting. Now, let me see. Oh. Anyway, did you know that that black character, Winston, before he was played by that one guy that we all know and love, they were actually planning on having Eddie Murphy playing Winston. Now imagine Eddie Murphy saying all those same lines what's his head said in the original movie. I mean, he'll be saying more like this. Hey, if I believe in anything, as long as I get paid, I believe anything. That's a big-ass Twinkie. I seen crap will turn you white. Ray, if someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes! That's what it sound like if Eddie Murphy played the black guy. Played Winston. And of course, Rick Moranis, who plays that awkward nerd on the apartment, who keeps on hitting on Sigourney Weaver. Actually, that character's role was supposed to be John Candy's role, and John Candy told them that I will play Louis Tully if you let me speak with a Russian accent. But sadly, they say they don't want him to use the Russian accent, so he's out, and Rick Moranis doing his nerdy kind of thing, kind of nerdy character. And of course, in the original story, how it goes, Sigourney Weaver's apartment her apartment is haunted by some kind of godlike ghost called Gozer. Some of you remember when she heard that Zool sound, and when she opened up that fridge, it was like, Zool Saka Zool! And I've been studying more on the entire series on Ghostbusters. Like, this DVD comes with this little booklet. That's the problem with these things. Can't get the booklet out unless you get the box out. There we go. What I have in my hand is a little booklet of the Ghostbusters. And they talk a lot about some of the scenes that they were planning to put in. And of course, having our Slimer there. Very interesting. Of course, it doesn't show all the storyboards. There was one storyboard I heard about, that there was a storyboard where there's a group of secretaries in this building. Now, this one would have been rated R if they showed that scene. A girl walks by wearing a ponytail, and this ghost just removed that band and it let out all of her hair. And then all of a sudden, this girl, she tips over to get herself a cup of water, and then that one ghost goosed her right in the butt. Just slapped her keister. And then all of a sudden, this other ghost starts pulling down her panties while this other ghost ripped her shirt, showing her bra, and the other one lift up the other girl's shirt and lifting up her skirt. That was very graphic. And that movie would have been rated R if they show that scene. If they went along on that storyboard. And of course, there's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And of course, as usual, I had to say that most of the stuff that these guys have, those proton packs and all that, they're completely unsafe. And there's this memberless a-hole who keeps forcing them to shut off the building. And he was so ignorant. Ingon is trying to warn him if he shut this whole thing off, it would be a bomb. But he's like, don't patronize me, blah, blah, blah. You know what that movie needed? A guy who's from the same company, but is on their side, and makes sure that they're safe. So they won't get their butts kicked by those safety people. They should have a character who works in the safety department, who has to tell them that they had to get the safety stuff up to code, and all that, so they won't have any problems. And after the first movie became a success, the first Ghostbuster movie became a success, all of a sudden they decided to make a cartoon series, and of course it's called Ghostbusters, but out of confusing because of that Ghostbusters cartoon series that I mentioned back in the 70s. Well, to stop all the confusing, for the sake of confusement, the cartoon series was called The Real Ghostbusters, so people cannot be confused with the other Ghostbusters in the 70s. You know, for legal purpose and all. And of course, making Slimer the most interesting character. You know, that's too bad that they didn't... I don't know if they show Slimer in that new movie or not. I don't know if that movie's going to be good or not. Anyway, after the cartoon series, they decided to do a sequel in the 90s. And herefore that we have Ghostbusters 2. I had to say it was a lot funnier than the last one. Except this time it's involving ooze. Some kind of slime that's full of negative things. People who have a lot of hatred towards someone. And of course it's all owned by this that Carpathian ruler named Vigo, who trying to resurrect himself by putting his soul in this one baby named Oscar, who's owned by Sigourney Weaver. Who's the father of that child? I mean, in the first movie, it's kind of referencing that Rick Moranis had sex with her while they were possessed. But of course, Sigourney Weaver lied to Peter Venkman, saying that she met someone else and had a child with him. So it's a big mystery who's the father of the child is. And of course I like that Renaissance painting at the end. All in all, the sequel was pretty good. Very funny on most of the levels. Except they should have made Slimer more helpful throughout the whole scene of the movie. Oh yeah, and here's the biggest coincidence of all. Ever since they made the cartoon series of Ghostbusters, the guy who does the voice of Garfield from the cartoon series, he did the voice of Peter Venkman. And of course, here's the biggest coincidence of all. Bill Murray did the voice of Garfield the movie. And even though Bill Murray hates playing Garfield, he hates starring in this movie and the sequel, but it is a coincidence that the guy who does the voice of Garfield in the cartoon series does the voice of Bill Murray's character, Peter Venkman, while Bill Murray does the voice of this Garfield. That there's an odd coincidence. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this review, and make sure you hit a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And there's going to be more later, and this time Dracula's returning, and he's going to be reviewing a vampire hunter from the Marvel Comics, Blade. So you guys stay tuned, and see you later. And remember, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but I heard he likes the girls.